guys, it's Brandon Miniman from Pocketnow.com, and this is the hardware tour of the new Acer Tempo M900. This is a very close competitor to the HTC Touch Pro 2 because it has a very similar form factor. There's a lot of similarities. There's also a lot of differences. We're going to cover all of the similarities and differences in an upcoming comparison. Check our Twitter for that, twitter.com/PocketNowTweets. You'll know when it hits. So let's talk about the M900. The screen is 3.8 inches diagonal across, which is actually a little bit bigger than the Touch Pro 2. The Touch Pro 2 is a 3.6 inch screen, and by comparison, the Touch HD actually has the same size screen as the M900, and that's the largest screen size that they make on mobile devices right now, until the Toshiba TG01 comes out, which will have a 4.1 inch screen. This sort of form factor, the small cell phone-like form factor, really only goes up to 3.8 inches, and this is really the top here. The resolution is 800 down and 480 across, so that is WVGA, the greatest that Windows Mobile can support. And let's zoom into the top here. Up here we have a front-facing video camera and a light sensors to the right of that, and you saw a blinking LED indicator light. There are actually two. One tells you if you have new messages, and the other one tells you if you are charging your device. It turns red and lets you know that it's powering up. The screen is totally flush. It's a very interesting looking screen because it's very shiny, very reflective, which looks kind of high class at first, but as we're going to find out later in this video and later in the review, the device actually has a cheap feel to it, and I'll explain why in a minute. Now if we go down, we see some hardware keys. So we have call start, we have GPS, which is configurable, you can change it. It just launches Google Maps Mobile. We have the fingerprint reader, we're going to talk about that in a second. To the right of that is the button that takes you home. And to the right of that is the call end button. Now what's really unique about this biometric button is that it has many different functions. So you can use it to protect your device when it goes on, so that just anyone can't pick up your device and use it. You have to swipe your thumb or your finger to get it to activate. You can also use it to lock all of your PIM information, so your calendar and your contacts and your email. If, again, you have this at work and you don't want anybody to get into your stuff, you can lock the PIM applications. Also, this will double as an optical mouse cursor. There's an option to change its function to the mouse cursor so that you get a kind of Samsung Epix-like mouse cursor moving around on the screen, and it's really great for one-handed usability. In addition, you can make it into an 8-way D-pad, which is really helpful when you're going through web pages and emails, so you can just kind of brush your finger around here, not have to touch the screen, and scroll down in an email. Really great addition, I think, and we're going to talk about how well it actually works in the review. Going over to the side, we have a charging and syncing and audio port. This is a mini USB. We have a scroll wheel, which is always a welcomed addition, and they haven't been really adding these to devices lately. It's on the left side of the device, which is a little bit awkward, especially if you're right-handed, but this will help you scroll through emails and that sort of thing. To the right of that is the external micro SD slot, which kind of feels cheap when you lift up the flap. But it's good to see that we don't have to lift up the battery cover to get to the micro SD card slot, as is the case with the Touch Pro 2. On the bottom, there's a microphone. On the other side, we have a camera button, which is dual action because it has autofocus. To the right of that is the soft reset hole. Here is a hardware programmable button that's automatically set to notes. And one thing you should take note of, this button feels very, very cheap. It kind of sticks out unevenly. Just one of the reasons why I think it has low build quality. And here we actually skip the stylus. Stylus feels very cheap. It's collapsible. It doesn't feel great like it does on the Touch Pro 2. To the right of that, we have the power standby button, and on the top it says GPS. Now let's flip over to the back. On the back, it looks like there's a piece of brushed metal, and it's actually not metal. It's a piece of plastic with brushed metal design on it, which still looks quite nice. We have a really interesting looking area surrounding the camera here. It's a 5-megapixel autofocus camera with flash, and we're going to talk about photo quality and video quality in the review. And then we have a big grill for the speaker right next to the camera. Now, of course, the M900 has a nice slide-out keyboard. The spring assist isn't as strong as it is on the Touch Pro 2. You see I'm moving it up slowly, and up it caught right towards the top. Whereas on the Touch Pro 2, I'm going to bring it up real slowly. It kind of caught in the middle rather than towards the top. Now let's zoom into the keyboard and talk about what you get on the keyboard. The keys are quite large, just like it is on the Touch Pro 2. And actually, The keyboard is about the same width as it is on the Touch Pro 2, which is good for people with large-sized hands, so you can have enough room here. The keys take a little bit of effort to press, more so than the Touch Pro 2. They're in an offset pattern, which is more ergonomic. There's an oversized spacebar, which I don't know if it really serves a purpose. Still have to get used to typing. In terms of key layout, we have some nice keys that will let you not have to touch the screen and keep all your fingers down here. We have soft keys on the right and the left. We have a start menu button here, OK button, D-pad style buttons over here. So really good lending to usability and not having to touch the screen. Here's a big problem. The period and comma are require you to press the function key to get to them, which is ridiculous. I mean, these are the most commonly used punctuation marks, and they are hidden behind the function key. Very annoying, but that's how they designed the keyboard. In addition, you have to press the function key to get to the letters here. It's not like the Touch Pro 2 where you have a dedicated number row at the top. Of course, not all devices can pull off something like that. And if we look closely at the keys, we see that they're kind of raised towards the bottom, which allows you to feel for them while you're typing. It's a pretty good keyboard, and we're going to have a full opinion on the keyboard coming up in the review on Pocketnow.com. In terms of in-hand feel, the M900 feels large, like it should. It's got a full keyboard, of course, and a large screen, so it's going to feel large. But in comparison to the Touch Pro 2, it actually feels a lot more large, even though it's only a little taller, a little wider, and about 1 millimeter or 2 thicker. It's just because the Touch Pro 2 is designed so well that it's very sleek, very rounded edges, has a good weight to it, the materials feel very high quality, whereas in the M900, the edges are more squared off, materials feel very plasticky, buttons jiggle all over the place. In fact, when you press the OK button in the upper right corner of a program, you get a little play in the screen here. Makes it feel low quality. And if you open up the screen, you can actually jiggle back and forth a little bit. So there's definitely a difference in the in-hand feel. I really prefer that, the in-hand feel of the Touch Pro 2 to that of the M900. But again, the M900 is a lower cost device, so that's what you have to expect. So coming up soon, we're going to talk about the software on the M900. There's a ton to talk about. Acer's really added a lot of stuff to this. And we're going to talk about the 3D interface, the shell interface that Acer has added on top of Windows Mobile. And we'll be back soon with that. In case you missed the unboxing video, I'll put a link up on the video right now so you can go and watch that. That's it for now.